Hello again. Wonderful to be back here with you, ready to begin our week with our Encounters with Jesus Lenten reflection again in the second week of Lent. Um, Today is Monday, so we'll start with our Encounter with God reflection. And today's comes from Nancy Frausto, who was born in Zacatecas, Mexico. She is an Episcopal priest, has a degree in theology from Bloy House, which is the Episcopal Theological School at Los Angeles, and she has recently been appointed Director of Latinx Studies at Seminary of the Southwest in Austin, Texas, which is, incidentally, my alma mater. That is where I went to seminary. Unfortunately, did not get to meet Nancy, who was not there when I was, but it will be wonderful to read her reflection and know the wonderful space that she is doing ministry within right now. So before we do that, we'll let Gabby join us and lead us in prayer.
Oh Dios, cuya gloria es siempre tener misericordia, sé benigno a todos los que se han descarriado de tus caminos, y tráelos de nuevo con corazones penitentes y fe firme, para recibir y abrazar la verdad inmutable de tu verbo. Jesucristo tu Hijo, que vive y reina contigo, y el Espíritu Santo, un solo Dios, por los siglos de los siglos. Amén.
Amen. Here is Nancy's meditation for today. My mother tells me that from my childhood, my best friends were my guardian angel and baby Jesus. It must be true because they both played leading roles in many of my childhood memories. I smile when I remember how I would play, laugh, and talk with these imaginary friends who were, for me, real, inseparable companions. As I grew up, I left behind many things of my childhood, but not this idea that these two faithful friends were standing by me. Through my adolescence and now into adulthood, these childhood friends have remained. They have never abandoned me. Today, I can see other occasions when, as an adult, I have had encounters with God and with Jesus, encounters that remind me of my childhood. I do not see these encounters as extraordinary, but rather as everyday events. When I open my heart, I see that my loving God has always been faithful, taking care of me when monsters lurked under my bed as a little girl, protecting me from the monsters of hatred, racism, and apathy that I encounter today, crying with me when I mourn the injustices and cruelties of the world, laughing with me when I have felt the joy of love, and celebrating with me the triumphs of my life, great and small. God's presence doesn't come as a voice from the clouds. I feel that presence in the whispers of the wind, in the rhythm of the waves at the beach, in the silence of the night, or in the giggling of a baby. I do not have to go out to seek God. God is with me in the love of my family and my community, in living life to its fullest and resisting evil. God is always present, waiting for me to notice that presence. No matter what stage of life we are in, all we have to do to find God is open our hearts. May this encounter be a reminder that God created us in love and calls us to love God's people. It is such a refreshing reminder that we don't have to wait for extraordinary moments to see and experience God. You know, when we hear this Encounters with Jesus title of this book, I know the first thing that comes to my mind, and maybe to some of yours as well, is that we're going to be hearing stories about these great, impactful, crazy moments where God has just shown up, or or these mystical experiences have happened, and that is just not always the case. Now, it may be. Maybe some of you have experienced those mystical moments. And if you have, it may be even harder to be able to see God when they don't happen. But this reflection of Nancy's is a reminder that big shows of God's presence or not, God is always there in those simple ways she drew out, like the waves of a beach, of being on the beach, which we can all relate to here, or the giggling of a baby. And we have some babies in our parish now, which is so wonderful. All of these expressions of love and life is where God shows up. And Nancy reminds us of that beautifully. So, this coming week, in addition to your task from Saturday, look for ways that God is showing up, ways that you see God in everyday moments of your life. And on that note, I will say goodbye, and I will see you again tomorrow.